Hello lovelies, how are you all doing today? I hope you're well. I really do hope you're well. The world's gone crazy, so when I say I hope you're well, I really mean it. Let's just leave it there. Oh my goodness, let's have a little catch up. I'm taking a little moment, a breather. It's been a really busy week, and it's got busier and busier and busier as the week's gone on. Because oh my goodness, I started the week, in honesty, I started the week feeling utterly broken. I'd had a few like pretty mammoth sessions in the garden on top of watering, and I think it was on Friday, walking home after another session, really hurting more than ever before, and I thought, oh, I think I've really broken myself today. Goodness me. Anyway, went to bed, and I think so all through the evening the aches and pains hadn't dissipated, and I think what happened was when I'd gone to bed I was kind of in bed sort of braced, I was subconsciously braced against the pain, so I woke up with a crick in my neck. Annoying. That crick moved up into my head and gave me a migraine, put me back to bed. Goodness me. Got up from that and thought, yay, my head's fine, brilliant. Got out of bed and went, oh, my back. It's just, honestly, I just felt just fed up and broken. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going to the garden for a couple of days. It's going to have to survive without me. Fortunately, on that last visit, I'd given everything a really deep soak, a much deeper soak than ever before, which is probably what finished me off. So I thought, you know what, the garden's just going to have to survive without me. I'm staying home, I'm going to do stuff at home. And as I've said before, fortunately, there's always something to get on with here. So yeah, it's been a mammoth week of doing stuff for the shop. I know some of you have seen that by now. You've been in there already. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who ever makes a purchase. Thank you on behalf of me, because that's a few pennies into my purse, but also thank you on behalf of Macmillan Cancer Care, who get a donation from every single purchase, so that's great. Yeah, and just stuff, other stuff, lists, it's like, oh my goodness. I still have great long lists, I still have more stuff to do, but yeah, as the week went on, I was really gathering some momentum and just back to working like proper long hours again. It felt great. It's been so productive, and I love that, and I'm sure I sleep better when I've been more productive. In fact, one of the things I do so when I go to bed, because I'm always so wide awake at night, one of the things I do, put my head on the pillow and I just play back my day to sort of say to myself, yeah, you know, you can relax, you can go to sleep, because this is what you've done today. Brilliant. And then, hallelujah, we had rain. Yay, we've had rain. Oh my goodness. So it's been forecast many times and it hasn't happened. So I was thinking, well, it's not going to happen this time. But it was forecast to start at, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 a.m. It was forecast to start 2 or 3 a.m. Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. 2:30 in the night, morning, whatever you want to call it. 2:30 after midnight. Pardon me. I was still wide awake. And then I heard it. I heard the rain start. So I went and sat in my window seat and just watched the rain for a few minutes, grinning from ear to ear, because it was good rain, as in it wasn't so hard and heavy. Excuse me. It wasn't like monsoon rain that's just going to wash away. It was heavy enough to hit the soil and not evaporate. So yeah, after a few minutes of watching the rain, I put myself to bed and just drifted off into the most delicious sleep, but woke probably only 45 minutes later around 4 a.m. because it was even heavier. And I had that delicious sensation of I had some windows open, the ones that open like that so the rain hits them rather than opening like that so the rain can come in. I had that delicious sensation of lying in bed, hearing the rain, smelling the freshness. Oh, it was gorgeous. And that carried on all day into Thursday, pretty much all day Thursday. Now, I had seen that forecast and I had slightly planned my week around it. And it was perfect that the rain was forecast for Thursday because I was doing something on Friday, which I'll tell you about in a second and show you. And I wanted to be in the garden on Friday. So it's like, yay, fantastic. And because it was a really dark, pouring down day. Look, the long and the short is I was having a visit from Richard and Paul on Friday. So Thursday I did some cleaning, but mostly I did a ton of tidying because honestly the flat was in absolute chaos. There were piles of work everywhere, but by Wednesday evening my determination was that sorry, I don't know why I've got this frog in my throat. A lot of it was shop stuff. It's like, right, by the end of Wednesday, I want everything at least to be photographed. Even if it's not yet in the shop, I want it to all be photographed because then I can put it away neatly. So yeah, a big tidy up on a Thursday morning. Yes, because I had visitors coming, but also for my own sanity, I needed to have a proper good clear up, tidy up, great. And because of that, I looked at the flat and I thought, wow, it hasn't been this tidy in months. I used the opportunity, because like I said, it was chucking with rain. It was not a going out day, not even to just have a little amble up and down my high street, bump into friends, that sort of thing. So I took the opportunity to do something folk have been asking me to do ever since I started my channel, and that is a flat tour, a proper flat tour. It's actually ended up being 2 videos, partly because there's a story behind everything. It's just like, none of this is from IKEA. It's not like flat pack, just, you know, there we go. There's a story. Anyway, so those 2 videos have been made, edited, they're ready to go, but I think we'll probably have them later in September because there's other stuff to do first. But yeah, that was great. And also I cooked on the Thursday for us to eat on Friday because when you've got friends around, it would be different. If I had a really big kitchen and my friends could sit in the kitchen while I'm cooking, that would be different. But there's not enough space for folk to sit in there while I'm cooking. So I like to cook the day before so that when I've got friends here, you know, I can be with them rather than be in the kitchen. So, this is so stupid. I always worry so much about this. I mean, I cook all the time. Obviously, I cook all the time because I eat all the time for me. But I sort of, I mean, I kind of don't care what I eat. I just want to eat. But when I cook for someone else, I just worry. I worry, is it going to taste nice? Is it going to be properly cooked? Is it going to be palatable? Are they going to enjoy it? Is it going to be filling? That's the bottom line when I feed someone else, is I want it to be filling. I want them to go away with a happy, full belly, and I want them to enjoy it. I want it to be tasty. And I hummed and hawed about what to make, and then I decided, because of course, if you remember, I've lost track of time now, was it last week or the week before, when I harvested the chickpeas? I think it was just last week, wasn't it? Time's doing weird things. Anyway, I'd harvested all those chickpeas. I was aiming to harvest them all green, because green chickpeas are gorgeous, but some of them had gone yellow and they were going on their way to being dry. They weren't quite dry yet. So I thought, yeah, let's do a chickpea curry. So it was chickpeas, cocoa Sophie beans from last year, because of course this year, A, the bean harvest hasn't happened yet, and B, it doesn't look like there's going to be much of a bean harvest, full stop. So it's last year's cocoa Sophie beans, last year's tomatoes, tomatoes just straight. I store my tomatoes in two ways. Either make them into a sauce, so, you know, oven roasted with onions and garlic and peppers and herbs and and it's more. Or au naturel, whereby I skin the tomatoes, so they're raw, skinned, pulverised in the blender just to squash them down, and frozen. So that was the tomatoes. What else was in there? Oh, and some of this year's... Oh, I've got fuzzy again, it's so annoying. Come on, camera. I'm here, look. Do I have to sit with my hands around my head for the camera to focus? Yeah, some of this year's Charlotte potatoes, which are a new potato, a salad potato, but that waxiness is lovely because they hold their bite. It's nice to have a bit of bite in the food, isn't it? Yeah, so that was it. Made the curry, and the great thing about making a curry the day before is the next day, I think it's even tastier because it marinates. So the next day when they were here, the only addition, as I was warming it through again, was half a tin of coconut milk to make it even more luxury. Yeah, and it turned out lovely. So there's me worrying and worrying and worrying. But, well, they said they liked it. They might have been being polite. I liked it, and there was enough for a bit of... What's that? Oh, it's my window, the wind. A bit of leftovers for me for my supper after they'd gone, and a little bit of leftovers for the next day for lunch. Goody good. So, so yeah, really productive week, and then culminating in a lovely visit from the chaps, which was just glorious. After we'd had our lunch and done our first talking session, we went off to the garden. That was the plan all along. I'd said when we were arranging today, the day, I said, you know, the weather should be good. I'd really love us to go in the afternoon, go and spend some time in the garden, because I want that. I'm going to get emotional. I wanted to have that last moment of sharing the garden with them. We've had some really lovely occasions in the garden anyway. But yeah, knowing that I won't have the garden next summer, I just really wanted to have one last moment in the garden with these two particularly lovely friends. So, and they were completely up for that as well. Now, as by way of introduction to this bit, I mentioned it in a video recently. Anyway, way back at the beginning of May, end of April, beginning of May, I was saying I needed a new table for outside the shed, for doing my seed potting and for sitting at with friends, what have you, because the other table was really on its last legs. So I went ahead and ordered a table. Great. Excuse me. When it arrived, it was heavier than I was anticipating, much heavier. So it sat in my hallway for May, June, July, most of August, nearly 4 months. My neighbours are fine with it. It was quite a slim box, but it was heavy. And I kept thinking to myself, right, get organised, Vivi, get a cab, just pop down there in a cab with it. Kept not happening. Well, you've guessed. So, because the chaps had driven over here, okay, let's drive down to the allotment with this box full of table in the back of the car. Poor Paul, he went in the back of the car with the table. He was like, so yeah, the table got taken to the allotment. Yay! And I'm just going to show you a little clip now of a little bit of our time at the allotment with the table. Hello, lovelies. Whew. It's a bit warm, as you can tell. All right, Rusty? It's just people being outside my shed being really noisy and annoying. Noisy and annoying. So finally, you know the table I was talking about? Managed to get it to the pot, so now it's time to put it together. But what I could really do with this table is some mansplaining. I need a bit of a mansplanation of it. So I don't know. Oh, I think I'll just have to try and cobble it together myself somehow, because there's no man here to splain it.
Place 2 leg tubes together and line up the holes on the 2 adjacent upstanding legs.
That's what he used to say on dates. Interlopers, people interloping in my garden. Can I help you?
Yes, we're just doing your table, madam, all right.
So this is rather fantastic. So the thing is, it was in this box and it was just too big and too heavy for me to manage on my own. So the chaps have brought it down to the garden for me, and there are instructions. There's toolage. Look at the little spanner for the fairies and elves in the garden. What's it going to look like? That's the top of it. Am I going to get told off now for being in the way? Do I need to turn the... do you two swear when you build things?
Definitely.
No, never.
Paul, you've never sworn in your entire life, have you?
I've never sworn.
Not even at a politician? We're not going there.
I've done that.
So, well, are you two going to do this? You're just
Phase
going to
2.
crack into it. They're doing it, aren't they? So, actually, what do you mean, oh? Don't say oh. Don't say oh like that, as in there's something missing.
No.
Is it oh as in... That's really... Oh, it's going to be perfect. It's quite small, isn't it?
No.
Oh. Do you know what? Just while they're doing that, because I haven't been to the garden for a couple of days, I just want to show you something. Just get on with the work, boys. Oh my goodness, aren't they completely adorable? So we were planning to have a little visit with each other today anyway, and I really wanted for us to come to the garden and spend some time in the garden together, because it may be the last time we're all down in the garden together. But oh my goodness, we had rain yesterday. Oh, that was an excellent clank noise. Yeah, we had rain yesterday, and it went on for hours, and it was quite heavy. I mean, it wasn't damaging heavy, no flooding here, but it was heavy enough to really but so much so that a couple of the paths you can still see. I don't know if you can get a sense of that. Get my shadow out of the way. How it's darker. Wow, it really was a chunk of rain. So I haven't been for a few days, and I was expecting pretty much all of the leaves on the beans to be off, but that's not what I want to show you. Gary, the lovely Gary, texted me an image yesterday to say, I think you can start picking. And as soon as I walked in, you can see the red from right up the path. Oh my goodness, isn't this the happiest sight? Look at the red though, it's so red. Is it possible to be so red? And this one, oh my goodness, this one, it's utterly perfect red. I'm going to have to pick them because they want to split actually after all that rain. So they're looking grand, and the Amish paste are really starting to colour up now. I mean, there's great bunches of them. Huge bunches. And also, this is the Guernsey Island Toms. They're all starting to colour up now. Again, great bunches of them. And they've all, the growth as well. So now, oh, blah, the top of it is 6.5 foot up. But yeah, I'm really chuffed. You see in there, the ripe ones ripening. Oh, I didn't check about, I don't think any of the, one of the Rose de Berne is just starting to change. That's not Rose de Berne. Well, that's a mistake. I wonder if that's a Guernsey. It doesn't have the little stripes. It's definitely not Rose de Berne. Anyway, yeah, oh my goodness, I've got courgettes to pick. Oh, there's a marrow of a courgette over there. Right, but that can wait. First things first, let me go and stop the boys from doing all that work for me. I should be doing it. And of course, whenever I come to the garden, I am always greeted. And it's so lovely. It's so lovely to have a kitty cat run up to say hello. Yes, this is our official meter and greeter. You right, Rust? You right, gorgeous? Where's your sister? His sister is Rosie. Different letter. Same mama. Right, chaps, stop that immediately. You sit down and let me do the... I've nearly done it. Yeah, little Rose... Oh, sorry, little Rosie is here. Aren't you sweet girl? Aren't you sweet girl? She's over here, though, because she's a bit shy, and Richard and Paul are such big, scary monsters. Wow. Nearly done. See, the faster you build the table, the faster we can lay it. Actually, no, there's nothing to lay on it. We've already had our lunch.
And a lovely lunch it was too.
Bless you, I only had to pay him a tenner to say that. Oh. Right, chop chop. Oh, I need to sit down. Haven't they done a marvellous job? Thanks, chaps, but the best bit. Stop it, Vivi. Too excited about this.
Do it slowly, do it slowly.
Oh my goodness. The protective coating. I feel like some people... Oh, this one's loose. Is it meant to be loose?
You were doing those ones.
Richard!
That was not my job. You had one thing to do, Paul. One
thing to do, Paul, and that was just be pretty as you did it.
I think you should do a close-up.
Do you want... Would you like a close-up? You'd have to pay. Sorry, I don't mean... I'm being saucy. Come in closer. Are you ready for your close-up? Oh, yes. Oh, it's quite stiff. I did not. Sorry. This is what happens when these two minxes come around. Oh, isn't that just... I'm not strong enough. Oh, it's all, hang on. This is all stuck down. Oh, I'm going to have to get up and give it some welly. Oh, sorry. What, you said I should stand? You know what? There's like 5 directors on set today. Right, here we go. Last chance saloon. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Do you know what? I've got to say, this isn't quite as satisfying as I thought it would be. It's just... Hang on, yeah. There we go, there we go, there we go. Thank you for my able assistant. Oh, that's better. Oh, that's what you want. You want to get a good... Oh.
Back down.
This was supposed to be a lovely bit of ASMR, and it's turned into... Well, look, you get the flipping idea. Look, there we go, plastic off, thank you. And I've missed a bit. But, and I've kicked the table. I think, as tables go, this is going to serve me perfectly well. It's not massive, but, you know, what do you think, sweetie?
I think it's fabulous.
Is it fabulous, darling? Thank you. Right, I think we need a glass of water now. It's a rather warm day, isn't it? Stuff that, I think there's some wine in the shed. Oh, they do make me giggle. That's the best kind of friends to have, isn't it? They're the best kind of friends to have. I think probably all my friends are like this, that there's a part of them that can be very serious, you know, conversations that have gravitas. Yeah, serious when we need to be. but utterly stupid and irreverent as well. So I always giggle so much when I'm with them. Brilliant. What was lovely while we were there, two things, and then we're going to go in the kitchen in a second. At one point, yeah, Richard and I were sitting outside the shed, and Paul had had a little wander into the garden, and I think he was taking some photographs. He was probably stealing my tomatoes, eh, Paul, eh? And he was walking back, and sort of between it's at the top end of one of my neighbour's plots and the bottom end of mine. They've got a big sort of scrubby patch. They've just taken the plot on, so they haven't really done a huge amount yet, but a scrubby patch of sort of overgrown brambles and what have you. And Paul saw a hedgehog. It made my day. I've never seen a hedgehog in real life other than those, you know, like was it called Mrs. Tiggywinkle's? There's a hedgehog hospital. I've never seen a wild hedgehog, ever. And, and there hasn't, on our allotment site, there's never been any evidence of hedgehogs. Just assumed that we didn't have any. But Paul saw one. So I crept really quiet up to see if I could see it. I didn't see it. But now I know where he's seen it, I'll keep an eye out. And he sort of identified two possible little hedgehog runs. There was another run, but it looked a bit big, maybe a cat or a fox run. But yeah, I mean, that makes me so happy. I have to see a hedgehog on that site before I leave. You know, it shows that, to me, that says the site is getting healthier and healthier in terms of that ecosystem. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful news. Also, while we were there, we were checking out my beetroots, which are looking really good. They've really, I don't know how they've managed it. Well, because I've been watering them every day. But they're sort of between golf and tennis ball size now, most of them. It's time to start harvesting some. But I was saying to Paul, I was like, you know what, I've kind of gone off beetroot, really. I used to make a lot of borscht, beetroot soup. Kind of gone off it. The way I love beetroot is roasted beetroot with goat's cheese and walnuts. Yum, yum, yum. But it's like I was saying to him, that's not something I'm going to cook. There are two reasons for that. One, I don't want to put the oven on. I mean, I just don't want to put it on at all. I certainly don't want to put it on to roast beetroot. Now, obviously, I could put the oven on if I plan it and organise it so that I'm roasting all sorts of other things at the same time. But in terms of just putting on for one meal, I'm not going to be putting the oven on. But also, it's a really yummy salad. That would require me to buy goat's cheese and walnuts, neither of which are cheap. So I'd end up spending a fortune on ingredients and a fortune on the oven just to use a beetroot. Have I gone fuzzy again? Let's do this again. Just to use one beetroot from the garden. That's madness. So I was mulling this over with Paul, and he said, why don't you try our beet bourguignon? I'll try to remember to put a card here for it. I thought, yes, of course. So it's one of their recipes. I've never tried it. And I think what would be fun, I might even film myself doing it. I've never tried a recipe from YouTube. I've never tried to look at and follow a recipe from YouTube. So I think that might be a good lesson for me as well, is like how easy is it to follow a recipe on YouTube? What have they done to make it easy? Maybe that's something I need to do when hopefully I might start doing some more cooking and some more recipes. So yes, great idea. I will have a look at their beet bourguignon. So yeah, absolutely. I should say as well, in that video clip we just saw, despite appearances, no, none of us were drunk. We're just giggly and high on each other's company. It's lovely. We haven't seen each other like in the flesh for ages, so yeah, well overdue. Also, not only but also, we had a little gifting session with each other. Paul's had a birthday, Richard's got one coming up, I've had a birthday, and one of the lovely things that they gave me was this. It's Rosemary Essential Oil. And it's one of those weird moments in life, one of those kind of moments of synchronicity, because literally, I don't know, 2 or 3 days beforehand, I'd had a comment on one of my videos from Susan. Hello, Susan. And she was talking about something she's been doing over the years for her arthritis. She said, do you want me to explain? I said, yeah, shoot, fire away. And she was talking about rosemary oil as a massage oil. I thought, oh, yeah, I know that well. I know it well. I haven't made any rosemary massage oil for ages. I tend to like to use rosemary in my bath. I make a pot of rosemary tea, as it were, and then add that to the bath. But I was thinking after she'd mentioned it, oh yeah, because I didn't harvest the rosemary this spring. I normally harvest a load. Hadn't got any dried rosemary in the house at all. Need to do a harvest, need to get some oil underway. And then along come the chaps a couple of days later. Oh no, it's water. With some rosemary oil. So what I'm going to do now is go and make myself a massage oil, plus get the calendula. Do you know what? Let's go in the kitchen and carry this on in the kitchen, because all my bits and bobs are in there. It feels really gloomy in here, doesn't it? Never mind. Potion time! Yay! Rosemary Essential Oil. Now, the other way I could have done this is, so I'm going to use the essential oil, shop bought essential oil. If I didn't have this, I could use my rosemary from the garden. And to make the oil, it wouldn't be as strong as using the essential oil, but I'd make it in exactly the same way that I make my calendula oil, which is, let's start with the calendula oil, because that's here and ready too. So I've got my dried calendula petals, couldn't be easier, jar to pop them in. I don't need a jar quite this big, but it's the smallest of my empty jars at the moment. Pop my petals in. What I'll do is I'll put on the card, I've done this in detail in video years ago. So my calendula is in. So if I was doing this with rosemary, exactly the same. I'd have my dried rosemary, but what I do differently, slightly differently with the rosemary is I'd give it a bit of a pound in the pestle and mortar, just to help, because it's quite woody, just to help break it up and just help it release its oils. Then adding my brand new, this was my Christmas present from the boys too. This is a Richard and Paul production, thanks chaps. Yeah, almond oil Christmas present. So all I do is, I'll show you when it's done. Glug, 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 glug. Make sure all the petals are covered. So all my petals are covered. Seal it, put it in a warm spot. Now, my south-facing window, yes, it's a warm spot, but it's in a direct sunlight. I don't want it in direct sunlight because that can actually destroy some of the goodness that's in here. When you, that's why, for instance, when you get your essential oils, they're always in a dark bottle because light can destroy it. So if I was doing rosemary, that's exactly what I'd do. Into a jar, cover it with, I mean, it's any oil you want. I think a lot of us are moving away from almond oil now just because almond production is so water greedy and the movement of bees and all that. But yeah, you can literally do any oil. Obviously, if it's one of the nut oils, if you've got nut allergy, you may be so sensitive that you can't use a nut oil on your skin, so just think about that. You might want to go for, you know what I've never tried it in? I've never tried it in rapeseed oil. And rapeseed is massively grown in Kent down the road from me, so maybe I should try rapeseed. And then that will just sit for 6 to 8 weeks. I say 6 to 8 weeks because sometimes I go, oh, how long has it been? I'll make a mental note. It's the end of August, September. So by the end of October, that will infuse. So all the goodness, all that healing property that's in the petals or in the rosemary is drawn out and into the oil. So then I'll strain it off and I'll bottle it, but I will bottle, a bit dusty, in one of my, another dark coloured bottle. In terms of, it's really easy to buy this stuff online these days, but in Eels Yard, you can tell from the colouring, can't you? So yeah, strain it off and bottle it and then use it. And in terms of use by date, any of your ingredients, so ignoring the calendula, that hasn't got a use by date, but I would look at the use by on here, best before the end of October 2023. So I might put a little sticker on here to say October 2023, and that will remind me that that's the use by. So I'll do that with my rosemary too. That's what I was planning to do after Susan's message. I suddenly thought, oh yeah, I haven't done that for ages. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to use my essential oil instead. Now, it's going to get a bit messy, so I might not do it on camera. I have this fantastic little funnel set. You can see some of them. If I do it that way, you can see. Some of them are really, really teeny tiny, because when you're trying to, we're going fuzzy again, aren't we? When you're trying to pour into there, it's nigh on impossible unless you use a funnel. Now, I would say that, you know, all these bits and bobs of equipment I've got, including these, if you were to go out and buy everything in one go, it might, hang on, noisy, that might feel quite expensive, buying bottles, buying your funnels, buying your bain-marie later on for making balm. Yeah, you buy it all in one go, it's going to be expensive. But if making your own is something that you want to get into and carry on over the long term, you will save a considerable amount in terms of what you've spent to set up, and your ingredients will cost less than if you were to go to a shop and buy a product. Also, you've got more control when you make it yourself, you know exactly what's going in there. But things like this, the funnels, bain-marie, all those kind of things, you can look out for in charity shops. So for instance, I've got where's my box grater? So I've got a box grater for grating my cheese or carrots or what have you. That's my food one. I picked up a second one in a charity shop, and that's purely for makes. So if I need to grate beeswax, that sort of thing. I'm getting off subject, aren't I? So this bottle will hold 100 mils of oil. So my recipe, now mostly when I make body oils, it's like, you might think of it as a massage oil. I'm not talking about massage oil. I'm talking about oil to cover myself in after my bath to keep my skin nice and soft and supple. Generally, I will do 100 mils, and for the 100 mils, I halve it for the number of drops. That's my easy way of remembering it. So 100 mils and 50 drops of essential oil. So that could be a blend. I could use 5 different essential oils to make up 50 drops. It might be 20 drops of one thing, 10 of another, 10 of another, 5 of another, 5 of another. I had to do some maths then quickly. So if you're making up a blend in your own recipe, write down the constituent ingredients and work out your number of drops so it doesn't exceed 50 in 100 mils. The thing with rosemary though, it's a really, really, really strong essential oil, and people can be really quite sensitive to it in terms of, you know, it irritates their skin. So it's probably one of the only, There are a couple actually. So anyway, I will probably only do 30 drops because it's so strong. Now on the subject of that, because all essential oils are different, again, if it's something that you're interested in, it's well worth looking out for a good book. So this one, the Encyclopedia of Aromatherapy. Now you can tell I've had this for a gazillion years because I'll show you, there's just so many notes in here. This is my poot bath body. Poot bath body, I don't know. It's all my different recipes and blends over the years I've tried. There are various pages marked, another set of recipes, another set of... this is a great book because it has a section for looking at specific ailments or whatever you want to call it that you might want to treat, and it goes through the various different oils you could use. The reason I'm mentioning this is because it also talks about, you know, where to use with caution. So rosemary oil used with caution. There are some essential oils which you should never, ever put on your skin neat. There are some essential oils you shouldn't even use in a steam inhalation because it will irritate the mucous membranes. So there are cautions in here, there are contraindications such as don't use in pregnancy, all that sort of thing. So it's well worth investing in something like this rather than, you know, it's back to the whole kind of like, oh, it's organic, it's safe. This is a point that, you know, really bears making. Just because something is organic or natural, oh, lovely, beautiful rosemary oil, doesn't mean it's safe, you know. Hemlock is natural, organic, lovely. It'll kill you. Don't eat it. So yeah, just because, you know, if you get given some essential oils for Christmas and you think, oh yay, let's start, you know, even to burn them in a candle burner bowl, just double check. So I love this book for that. It's got all the contraindications. Also, it shows, it puts essential oils into families to say this blends well with this, so you don't get any sort of scent smell clashes, especially if it's something you're using just as a sort of post-bath body oil type thing. So yeah, this, I got it when it first came out. Let's see just how many years I've enjoyed this book. 1996, 26 years ago. Brilliant. If you see this one on your travels, let me show it to you again. The Encyclopedia, it's Chrissy Wildwood. I highly recommend it. Anyway, I think I've got an essential oils book in the shop at the moment. Yes, I have. So there we go. I'm going to get on with this because I'm bound to splosh. I'm always such a messy girl. So I'm going to get on with this and round things off here and just say, you know, thanks for hanging out with me today. It was so great to see the chaps the other day, and hopefully there'll be a return visit, me to them before too long. Lovely, lovely birthday prezzy, Christmas prezzy. Thanks, chaps. Yeah. I do have a blessed life. I feel very, very fortunate. Right, so on that note, I'm going to say cheerio to all of you. Like I said, with the flat tour videos, like I said, it ended up being 2, they will be a little bit further down the line. In the meantime, there's going to be a bit more stuff to get on with in the garden. Oh, you will have seen in that clip some harvesting to do. So yeah, I will see you all again really soon. I'll see you in a few days for end of the month roundup, thoughts on, and then as we go into, I can't believe we're going into September, I can't believe it's autumn in a few days. What happened? No, I want summer to last forever. I'm such a summer girl. I'll see you soon, whatever. Gotta go now, shut up Vivi, alright. Lots of love to you all. Please look after yourselves, and I will see you again really soon. Until then, cheerio.